So in the previous class, we were discussing about selection process, right? How do we match a person with a job or a job with a person, right? We're talking about selection because so we know the first step in matching a person with a job or a job with a person is to study about the job itself, right? Until and unless we know what is that we require, right? What is the task to be performed or what is the job to be done, then only we can acquire the required person. So rather we can uh, collect the correct person for the job, right? We need to study about the job itself. So in that term, in that sense, the first step is to learn about the job. That is job analysis, right? So what is job analysis? In job analysis, what we do is we study about the requirements for a job. Okay, what are the requirements for doing a job efficiently or successfully? What are the requirements for a completion of a job? We study that. We not only that, but we look into the factors which influence the requirements, right? So what happens is, suppose we need a translator, okay, a translator like from in English Malayalam. Okay, suppose we have a translator. We need translator who can translate English from Malayalam or Malayalam to English, right? So what is the it's the job, and what is the requirement? Requirement is that person should be well versed in English and Malayalam, right? If he is not well versed in English and Malayalam, he cannot do the job. That becomes the requirement, right? So what is the factor? Because he is doing this particular job, so he must know Malayalam and he must know English. So that becomes a job. So that's how we do analysis. The job is particular job is translator job. Okay, he has to convert English to Malayalam. So the meaning is he should be what are the requirements for that? Then he should be well versed in English and Malayalam. Right? Then only he can do the job perfectly. So that is job analysis. So whenever we do job analysis, uh, we also look into consideration like what are the different factors which affect, right? What are the consideration? What are the other factors which we consider like the performance standard? What is the performance standard? Or performance standard means what is the output? Okay, what is the output which you require, right? Then after that, we look at the output in terms of quality and quantity. We'll be talking in terms of quality and quantity because it will change. Suppose we are going for quality, we will need more skilled personnel. Okay, so if we are going for quantity, we need persons who can work in that sense, right? So quality and quantity it is taken into consideration. Then we'll identify what are the works to be done, work activities, what are the works to be done, what are the jobs he has to complete. Then what are the technologies available? Okay. So what are technologies we do which we have and which can be acquired? That is taken into consideration. Then what is the job context? Where do we work? Right? What is the site where is the work? Maybe if we are going for site work, what are the site conditions? What are the schedules? What are the social conditions? And how are we going to compensate? Right? So suppose in the site we are going for, we need overtime. Okay, so the labor should be paid, and only they will work. Okay, so we need to think about the compensation also. Okay, based on schedule, we have to think about the compensation. Then the social conditions. Where are we working? Okay, so sometimes ladies cannot be put in the site because you may have to work late. Right? Security issues may come into play. So all these things have to be considered. Then that's related to work. Okay. Then the personal requirement. What sort of person, or if he has to do the job, what is his requirement? So what is the skill level he needs? What is the experience he needs? What is the education he needs? Right? Whether he has undergone some trainings or not. All these things have to be considered when we are doing the job analysis. Then once we have done the job analysis, the next step is job selection process, right? Selection process means we are recruiting the best suited candidate, right? The best person for the job. So he may be from within our company or from outside, right? and it may be for an immediate requirement, right? Immediately he may be placed, or maybe he may be placed in the future. So that's the selection process, right? So then how do we do the selection? The first is we need to get a job description and job analysis. Job description, job specification, and then that we get from the uh, job analysis. We have done the job analysis. We know what are the works to be done, what kind of a person we need. All these things can be acquired from that, right? So job specification helps us to differentiate between what are the essential characteristics and what are the desirable characteristics. Okay, for a site engineer, essential characteristics, he should be uh, a civil engineer. Okay, it's an essential. Then based on the work, experience and everything will come into play. But there will be certain desirable characteristics also, right? That has to be understood. So once that is done, then the next step is we have to send out the application forms. The applicants, they will come in and fill the application form. So the application forms, they act as a screening. They act as screening. So many candidates cannot move beyond the application form, right? Because we know selection means not only selecting the best, but also rejecting the unsuitable, right? So application form itself works as a barrier, right? So we have a demand that he should have a CGPA of 7.5. Every candidate should have a CGPA of 7.5. Those candidates who cannot meet the requirement cannot move forward, right? So it acts as a barrier. So it helps us to reduce the number, right? Also, other details, whatever details we need, we can acquire through application form. His age, what is his education level, what is his training, all these things can be acquired from application form. Then once the application form is done, we'll go for the next step. That is, we have to do some tests, right? We'll conduct aptitude test or trade test. Maybe even psychological test will be done, right? The trade test means for us it will be if we are going for a survey job, you'll be given a total station and asked to say or a pure light and asked to do a certain measurements, take a certain measurements. Right? What will happen if you sometimes we are going for a AutoCAD as a designer, you'll be asked to do some steps in designing eTablostat, maybe even draw something in AutoCAD. So that becomes the trade test. That will show us how efficient you are, okay, or how well you know. Rather than see if we are searching for the tools, so that shows us you are not well versed in the software with the software, right? So if you are using shortkeys for line L enter and you are drawing line, that means you know the software, right? So, uh, so that kind of knowledge can be acquired from the test. Okay. So once you have to clear the test, then comes interview. Interview becomes basically we are having a conversation, right? The interviewer and you will be having a conversation, and there your ability and your suitability for the job will be judged. Okay. The interview may be a single person, it may be a panel, it may be one on a face to face, or it may be via some other medium like online interview something. Right? Once you have passed the interview, the next step comes as a physical test, physical examination, maybe as per the requirement of the job. Okay? For engineers, we may not have to undergo this, but based on the job, if you are going for a police job, you have to undergo physical examination. So once you have done the physical examination, you will be inducted, right? You will be welcome to the company. You will be given an introduction to the all the staff who you're working with. You form some relationships. You just will form some relations the first day, and as the days progress, you'll make new relationships. Then they will tell you what the company is, what is the procedure, what is the follow. All these things will be done. Okay, that's basically how selection is done. Okay. So when the next topic was system approach to selection. So we have to be very careful when we are selecting the person, right? Because the person is the one who does the job, right? No matter what the plans are, what our organization goals are, what is the structure of the organization, if we are not choosing the right person for the right job, we will never be able to make our goals. Okay? So we have to be very careful when we are selecting. So selection should always be done in a systematic manner, like the one which we set. Right? So if we give a more structure to it, so we have set the process, right? Like now, what we have selection process is now. if you give a little bit more structure to the process, we have that is we make the process selection as a system. Okay, we are making it a system. We know for every system there is an input, there is a transformation process, then there is an output, and finally there will be a feedback. Okay, so we are applying, or rather we are making the selection process as a system. So how does it work? So we know for every system there will be input, output, transformation process, and uh, feedback mechanism, right? So here, what are the inputs here? Based on our goal. Okay, we have an organization based on our goals. We'll have a requirement, personal requirements will be there, right? So suppose what happens is, as we said, we are having an office in Kerala, Kannur. We are decided to expand, and we are gonna open an office in Kochi. So our goal or our objective is expansion. Okay, because of that goal, now we are opening an office in Kochi, right? So because of that goal, we are opening an office in Kochi, and that will lead to personal requirements. Okay, we need staff in that office, right? Our aim goal is opening an expansion that will lead to opening an uh, office in Kochi, and that will lead to new staff recruitment, right? So I need, suppose I need one manager and two staff, right? So that comes our position requirements, right? Our position requirements. Next is and job design. So I have decided I need a manager and two staff. So I am also designing the job for them. So design the what are the tasks they have to perform. Okay, we will see designing job design later. What are the tasks they have to perform. So all this thing is based on our goal. Our goal is expansion. That's why we are opening an office in Kochi. That's why we are recruiting a manager and two staff. Okay, and we are assigning them job also. If you are the manager, you need to do task A, B, C. The work other staff has to do work X, Y, right? So that becomes job design. And also we have to take into consideration the individual characteristics. What are the individual? So the manager, he has to run the office alone. So he's from Cochin itself. Better if he's a local there, then he should have experience because a new manager cannot maybe not be so much effective. So we'll have to take his requirements, individual characteristics, what is his education, what is his experience. All these things have to be considered, right? And this becomes our input, right? So the requirement personal, the job, sorry, the personals for the job and the job design, and this the characteristics. This becomes our input, and based on this input, we'll be effectively recruiting, right? We'll be recruiting, we'll be selecting, right? So that becomes our recruitment selection. We had to undergo, he or she has to undergo a selection process. Selection process is what we said now. Okay, what we have discussed. That's the selection process. So he has to undergo the training, application formats to be filled. He has to undergo the test. He has to undergo physical education if it is needed. All these things will be done. So effectively, we are recruiting and we are selecting, right? Then the so while recruitment selection, it's also possible that we can promote someone. Okay, we have an office, we have an office, staff in Kannur that is doing a good job, so he can be given the charge in Cochin also. That's also possible. Promotion can be the placement also can be okay. That is also possible, right? But what we have to take into consideration is we have to take into consideration the external environment and the internal environment. Okay, what are the laws of the land? What is the government regulations? What is the thing? Okay, all these things externally, those factors has to be considered. Also internally, okay, what is the current status? Okay, can we suppose we are having good staff in the Kannur itself, so can we shift him to Cochin if he is ready to go to Cochin? Right, that's also the question. If we, if he ready to go to Cochin, so if I need that person in Kochi, and because I needed that person in Kochi because he is a good worker, so I cannot force him. I cannot say go there or I will hire you. So I should give him some incentives. I say I'll give you some salary change. So all these things has to be internal factors also has to be considered while you are doing your recruitment, selection, placement, and promotion. Okay, that becomes your transformation process. Right? So once you have placed the person, you need to give him the orientation. Right? Once you have placed, you need to tell him what is the condition of the company, what are the rules and regulations. Then basically you do the orientation work. Right? Then after orientation is done, then he starts performance. Right? So he will be performing good. Then his performance will translate into the company's performance. Right? If he is performing good, the company will also perform good. Right? As far as he is concerned, as far as input from him, company will also perform. Now what we have to do is we need to assess. We need to conduct an appraisal. Right? What is what how is he doing? Company doing? So we'll give him rewards. Maybe we will do a formal assessment, and then he can be given some maybe promotion can be given. He may be rewarded basically. He may be a promotion, maybe salary hike, maybe a bonus, extra days of vacation, maybe something like that. He can be rewarded. But sometimes if he's not an worker, we may have to terminate him. We may have to replace him, or we may have to demote him. That's also possible. Right? So while doing appraisals and rewards condition, we take into consideration development also. Okay. So can we develop the person, right? That means if we can undergo some training, then we can do. He or she can be successful. Okay, that is also possible. So the development prospects also taken into consideration while we are doing the appraisal. Then he can be so that this development once we know that can act as input to orientation also. Doing we development he may be under that's possible. Okay, during the orientation that he right. So the that is he may be promoted, he may be demoted, he may be replaced, or so that becomes output. Okay, that is all. So input was the position requirements, the job design, the individual characteristics, all this is input. The transformation process is selection process. Okay, selection and recruitment selection process is our transformation process. Then the output is based on the appraisal. What are we going to do? Whether we are going to promote him, whether we are going to demote him, or replace him, or ask him to go to recruitment. So that becomes our output. Input and out. This result, that is with a certain quality, can be promoted or cannot be promoted. That becomes a feedback to input. This factor into management. Okay, that person having this kind of a background performed well. That person with this kind of background didn't perform well, right? So that can be taken into consideration. Also, that will affect our goal also. That is, if you see it is not working, the coaching office is not working good. So down it, our goal itself gets hampered. We were thinking about expanding, but unfortunately, we are not able to. We are doing extremely well. Companies are doing extremely well, so they can be rewarded. Person is rewarded, and we need more staff. So we had the originally we had one manager and two staff. Maybe we need 4 managers and 20 staff. So that's also possible, right? So this is system approach to selection. So whenever you are learning, study this block diagram first. Based on the diagram only, go for study the theory. Okay, and the question comes to draw the block diagram first itself. Okay, mark out what you know. Okay? Yeah. So we were saying about recruitment, right? Many times we have said the term recruitment. So now, how can we define or we can explain recruitment? So recruitment is a process of searching for prospective employees. Okay, so recruitment basically searching. First step is searching and searching for prospective employees. like our restaurant, right? We have a restaurant and we need a chef in who is well versed in Arabic cuisine. So I am searching for a chef in who knows Arabic cuisine, right? So that is the first step. Okay? That is, and what I have to consider to suit the job requirements of the organization. Okay, to suit the job requirements of the organization, that has to be kept in mind, right? So we'll have certain limitations of it. We can pay this much of salary. You'll have to work from this time to this time. Okay? All things has to be taken into consideration. Has to be kept in mind while we are searching for the prospective employee. Okay? And while we are searching, we should also stimulate them to apply for the job. Okay, so we have an opening. Okay, I am searching, but at the same time, people should apply for the job also. Okay, so that can be done by leaving advertisement in the newspaper or getting even an FB post or in FB or Insta. My friends, right? We say, yeah, here we have someone who shoots the job. Can you please send it? Email? Just for an employee, and at the same time, I'm people to pay for the job. Yeah, so that becomes a process. Yeah. The next topic is job design. So we have said in the uh, system approach, right? We have position requirements and job design. See, that's our input. That's one of our input. Right? Job design is one of our input. Now, what is job design? Job design is a process of organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities. Okay? We are organizing the tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work, okay, to achieve organizational goals. It defines the various tasks required to do a specific job and the method of performing the task also, right? So, what is job design? So, job design is basically a process of organizing the duties, tasks, and responsibilities. So, tasks sometimes, okay, maybe you're doing a project, okay, you're doing a project and you need rainwater, uh, what collection data. Okay, you need how much rainfall has been collected. So you'll set up a rain gauge in the college, and you'll be assigning one person, okay? One or two person from your project group. You'll assign them to take the data, right? So what are the tasks he has to do? He or she has to do. He has to collect the rainfall data. Okay. That becomes his task. Okay, and what are duties and responsibilities? You should do it every day, right? Should do it every day. He or she should do it sincerely, right? He should, that's all into one, right? So rather than giving one person take the data, other person keep the record, right? The same thing can be done in two ways. One thing, one person can do all these things. Okay, taking taking the reading, then they doing it daily, then collecting, means recording the value, keeping what can be person can record the reading. Okay. What will your it will be if one person is taking the reading, one person is taking and recording the reading, right? So because there is no chance of error because I am taking the reading and I am itself writing it down. So there is no chance of uh, losing the data. So that kind of organizing it is known as uh, job design. Okay, so while doing a project, you will say, okay, these are the tasks we have to do. So you will say, okay, these three tasks can be are similar, so this person can do. Okay, and what are the methods also? How it has to be done? You have to take it in the morning at this time. Okay, you have to note the time. If possible, you have to take it in the evening also. So there will be a specific method, and that will be dependent. That will depend upon the job. Okay? Maybe your project will tell you what to do. So we are designing or we are understanding the task and the method of performing the task. So that becomes job design. Clear? So what does it do? establishes relationships that should exist between the job holder and the superior. Job holder and superior, subordinate and colleagues. Correct? So what is the relationship? So he or she is responsible for that particular job. So what if the superior asks, the superior will call up him and ask, so what is the relationship? Okay, that's the relationship between them. So who all works under him? Okay, who are all his colleagues? All these things will be based on uh, the job design. Right? So that establishment like that. Maybe in our case, we can also take the example of arts. We have a project, we have a coordinator, right? We have a coordinator for stage coordinator. He will be in charge. So we have under him, he will be subordinates will be there, right? We have he has to do some job. Then what is the relationship between him and the overall coordinator? And what is the relationship between other coordinators? All these things will be established based on the job, right? Now, how do we do this design? Okay, we do it in 3 steps. Okay, the first step is specifying the individual task. We need to identify. Okay, we need to identify the different tasks. That means different tasks to be included in Java, specified and categorized. Okay, so for soft, like we'll take the example site engineer. So what are the duties of the site engineer? What are the tasks for a site engineer to perform? One is measurement. Okay, so he has to take the measurement. How much of plastering has been done, or how much concreting has been done. All these measurements he has to take. Then he has to order for the materials, right? Cement or aggregate or something. Whenever he needs it, he should be order it well before it. Because work should not stop because we are waiting for materials to come. So that should not be the case. So he has to order the materials, right? Then he has to oversee the concreting process. Right? Concreting works he has to do. He has to take the time, like while we are cutting the rebars, so he has to oversee that. Right? All these things has to be done. So these are the tasks. So we are specifying the task. Okay, we are all are different tasks. So we are categorizing these different tasks and putting it in one. So the site engineer will do this job. Okay. So we are specifying the individual tasks to be included in the job are specified and categorized. Okay, so we are specifying these a site engineer has to do these 4 jobs. Okay, jobs may be added, jobs may be reduced. That will depend. But we are specifying what are the jobs he has to complete. Yeah, site engineer has to complete, right? Then what are the methods he has to do? In method, what method specifying methods? That means the specific methods to conduct the various tasks are identified. Suppose he has to order the cement, right? So we should call up the we'll have a tie-up, right? We have a supplier. So either he'll call up the supplier directly, ask him to bring the material to the site, or what he'll do, he'll contact his finance manager or the purchase manager. Okay? In this particular site, I need this much of cement. Please make arrangement that it reaches before tomorrow. Okay? By tomorrow it reaches, or day after tomorrow it reaches. Okay? So there's a method for that. So again, we have to specify the method. Either he can call him directly. So that is again we are giving responsibility to him. So we are creating a method like that. Okay. So the specific methods to conduct the various tasks are identified. It provides the basic guideline to perform the job. Okay. So that is a method. I have to call the purchase manager, and purchase manager will order for me. Okay. Sometimes I'll order directly from the supplier itself. So that will form the guidelines. Okay. The first thing is specifying the jobs to be done and categorize them. Second one is specifying the methods for performing the said jobs. Right? And what is the third step? Third step is combining the tasks into jobs. Combining all these things into jobs. Okay. After specifying the individual tasks to be included in a job, they combine into group and assign to individual employee or group. Okay. So we know a person we need in the site. We need to take a measurements, right? We need to then we need to order for the materials. Okay. We need to oversee concreting. We need to oversee cutting of rebars. Then creating the reinforcement cage, overseeing that. Then we need someone to watch for the materials. the stored materials and site. Then we'll need uh, then we need someone to look after a site. Okay? We'll need someone to arrange food for the workers. So these are different tasks. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to categorize, right? So taking measurements, overseeing concreting, for ordering materials, then overseeing reinforcement cages and all. That can be done by one person. He will be he is the site engineer. Okay, so looking after the site, we need a watchman. So that person can be we can give that person the responsibility, and he will be appointed. A watchman can be appointed, right? Someone has to order food for the workers. So rather than having doing site engineer has to do, or someone he can assess the watchman. Okay, so daily members are people need watchman. Rating, we identify what are tasks to be done, then we categorize them, right? We combine tasks into jobs. Yeah. So we now immediately we have two jobs. One site engineer is there, then one watchman is there. Similarly, we'll have other jobs also, right? Now, what are the importance? The importance is it contributes to the organizational effectiveness, right? If you have properly designed everything, then it will work properly. If you have properly designed, we'll have effective organization, right? So the watchman being given an additional charge for ordering the food. We can reduce someone else's job, and that job can be performed by someone else, right? So it contributes to the organization efficiency. Effectiveness also increases, right? Enhances employee satisfaction, motivation, involvement, and commitment level. So if we are grouping the jobs based on maybe education or experience, or after taking those things into consideration, the employees will be happy. Suppose sometimes what will happen is person may be doing jobs which he might be joining a site engineer, but he is forced to do some other job, maybe in accounting, right? So he may not be happy. So it will reduce his satisfaction, right? So if we are doing job which is not what we have studied. Okay, we have spent 4 years studying civil engineering, and we are forced to do some other job. We may not be happy with it. So if we are designing jobs, so we can ensure that people are happy, they have a satisfaction, they are motivated, they involve in more and more, and they have higher commitment level. Right? Then helps in cost reduction by eliminating the causes of accidents and injuries through enhanced safety and health measures. Right? So when I am designing the job, meaning I am not only am specifying the task, but also how the task is performed. Right? I am also specifying the method also. So I know what is the method. So what are the dangers involved, right? So as in when I know this thing, so which is better for me to implement the safety measures. Right? Suppose we are having a 10-story building, 12-story building is being constructed. So simultaneously works will be going in the 10th floor, and in the on the ground, right? So what will happen is what will happen is I can make sure that put up a net, okay, so that if somebody drops a tool or something, the person standing beneath is not injured. Okay, so I can put up a safety measure. I can put up a health measure. So I can make sure that all the employees, okay, all the site workers must wear a helmet, right? So that can be put up, right? So that's again a possibility. So because I am designing job, I can know what are the chances of an injury in there, and I can properly uh, you can properly design for the health and other health issues, right? Your safety issues can be implemented safely. I can implement, right? Then what are the factors affecting job design? One is requirements. What's the requirements? Organization requirements will be here. So whether it is productivity, it's quality, whatever it's that we have to consider that. Then individual likes and dislikes. What kind of person are we? What are the kind of person we are employing? So that is to be taken into consideration. Personal characteristics. The input, there is whenever we are talking of selection, we are having a column like personal characteristics, right? That has to be considered. Then what are the technologies we have? Right? Technology we have to consider the when the see, earlier we used to have draftsman, right? We used to draw the plan by hand. We used to scale and pencil, right? So you must have done your first year graphics, right? We used to draw like that plan. Yeah, we used to draw plan by hand, but now we are having AutoCAD, right? We are completely in hand. This is similar, uh, right? Uh, large work will be total change. That using uh, job design. So if I can include more and more technology, so the job design will change, right? Then what is the structure, organization structure? What kind of an organization am I running? Structure will also influence the job design. That is who answers to who. Uh, so we have learned that there are two terms: job analysis and job design. Right? The job analysis means what is it? The process that identifies the task, duties, responsibilities, qualifications, skills, knowledge, etc. for an individual for a job. Right? So that is job analysis. While doing job analysis, so rather if you compare job analysis and job design, job analysis means identifying or studying the requirements, requirements for a job and the factors which influence the requirements. Right? And it will be your knowledge, your personal characteristics, your performance standards, all these things will be in there, right? And job design means we are allocating the task. So we are grouping the job and we are allocating it for either for one person or for a group, right? So that's the job design. So we'll stop here today. Please let me know if you have any doubts.